Today at the Crabby Coffee Shop, we drink the tea, we chew the fat, and we complain about meteorologists. Let the cliches, stereotypes, and banality begin. How you doing, my dear? I mean, dummy.
Yeah,
How you doing, dummy?
you got to insult me, or it's not a day without an insult from you.
Yeah.
I'm miserable, but getting through.
I'm really apprehensive about talking about this because I know what you're going through. You quit smoking how long ago? Recently?
Let's see. This is day 16.
Have you cheated yet?
No.
Do you think about it nonstop?
All the time.
Yeah. Do you want to
You know what it is? I have been, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I am familiar, very familiar, long story, with 12-step groups and people not drinking and addictions and blah, 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 blah. My parents were, whatever, it doesn't matter. So I've been around that my whole life. Yeah. And I remember very clearly, and this so applies, is recovering alcoholics will often say many things to help them, but themselves. But one of the things they say is one drink is too many and 1,000's never enough.
Exactly.
Right?
That's it, exactly.
And every time I toy with the idea, which I do, toy with the idea of, well, couldn't I just have one? I have to get a grip. Yeah. And say, that's not going to be enough.
It's speaking of cliches, it's literally one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 hour at a time.
Or
it's
5 minutes.
Bad. Yeah.
Addictions. I just think addictions broadly, which I've been interested in my whole life because of my background. And my parents, just to be clear, my dad was a social worker, but they both facilitated chemical dependency groups for people in recovery. And I've been around people in the Twin Cities recovery community my entire life since the 1970s when it was sort of new.
But that doesn't make it any easier.
No. I know
knowing,
everything in my head.
But it doesn't
change. Matter.
Yeah.
And it's not, I'm not going to compare addictions because I think it's all kind of the same mechanism, right?
Yeah. I think so.
I think there's a physical component to kicking opioids and kicking heroin and kicking coke and meth. There is a physical component of those that makes them so physically difficult.
It doesn't, for me, doesn't even have to be drugs.
No.
I had, believe it or not, a cough drop addiction.
I get it.
And I can get into that. But what kind of smoker, what kind of ex-smoker are you going to be? Are you going to be one of those pain in the asses? Or are you going to be an awesome ex-smoker like me when I can stand now in the middle of smoking and love it? Nothing would make me happier.
I love secondhand smoke.
Huh?
I love secondhand smoke.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So do I. God, we are so much alike.
And you know what, Kenny? I mean, honestly, I have, as we just said, and you have too, everybody in life runs across people who are dealing with addictions. It's the human condition for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I am not going to be the kind of ex-smoker or non-smoker, whatever you're going to call me. It's ex-smoker. I am not going to be the kind of person who has anything, I hope, but compassion for the difficulty. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not ever going to blame it on the tobacco companies, but they are also involved.
Yeah, they are. And if you are an ex-smoker that hates smoking and being around smoking, I 100% get it.
Totally
You've got to do and live whatever it takes
Yep.
to stay off the tobacco.
But here's the thing. I totally agree, Kenny. Here's the thing. How about let's not shame smokers since you're just newly or maybe you're 10 years off of it.
Yeah.
I guarantee most people have something else.
Yeah.
Especially at a certain point in life, if you're not a smoker, you drink too much. If you don't drink too much, you smoke too much weed. If you don't smoke too much weed, you're a coffee addict. If you're not a coffee addict, you're a cough drop addict.
Yeah. Oh, I'm coffee.
People with their, I used to go and be involved in 12-step meetings that primarily were people dealing with alcoholism. And in California, occasionally there would be people from Narcotics Anonymous that would come to AA meetings because there weren't enough NA meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And they were generally younger than these old farts that were in AA.
Yeah.
And the old farts in AA had just such a snotty attitude about the NA people. And I remember having conversations where it'd be like,
that. What is that?
You're a drunk.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but you're a drunk.
Yeah.
Why are the kids smoking weed a different and lower class of addict than you?
I've been meaning to bring that up for a long time, and not even in the post-addiction realm. The current drinkers that hate people that smoke weed.
I don't get it.
Crack me up.
I don't get it. And here's why, Kenny. The truth of the matter is, and I don't have the stats in front of me because I don't care enough, but the truth is, if you went to hospitals, I've seen statistics over the years, hospitals where they report how many people are in hospitals for things related to alcohol, health conditions related to alcohol, deaths related to alcohol, the percentage of them is off the charts.
Yeah,
off the charts.
Yeah.
And you just don't see the same amount of, and I'm not saying it's a better addiction, but you just don't see that same amount with for sure marijuana. You just don't, or they wouldn't be legalizing it.
Yeah.
You know, and I always thought, like, what? You have to contort your psyche in a particular way.
You justify your existence.
To justify that you drink your drug.
Yeah.
And someone else
well,
inhales
it's legal.
it.
Well, so is weed now.
Right?
So back to smoking. Did you have a rock bottom? Or did you just pick a day and say that's enough?
You know what? I will be honest, and you and I have talked about this. Smoking is amazing.
Oh my God. I had this conversation yesterday at the dentist's office. I was cracking him up. I love smoking to this day.
Yep.
It is the best thing that I've ever done. I loved it. It just gave and gave and gave. It made me so happy, but I recognize what it did
it's
to
killing
me.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, really what it came down to, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I would, while my brother and sister are like planning their like post-retirement life and what they're going to do. My sister's in France and she's going to go to Italy and my brother's going to Paris. And I'm like, I'm just going to sit here in Stillwater and die.
You're standing out back at the dumpsters, sucking down. So
I'll just sit here and die slowly over time.
And I know you've tried medicines before in the past because this isn't your first attempt. I have also done all that, the patch, the lozenge, all that nonsense. What happened, and it's been, I think we're coming up on the end of 2 years on Mother's Day, is I got so sick that I couldn't smoke.
Right.
So it was 3 or 4 days without smoking, and my lungs were congested. And they were so congested that I couldn't lay down flat and sleep.
Wow.
So I was doing cough drops and sleeping in my chair, sitting up.
Yeah.
And I had to sleep in that chair for about a month. And that is what stopped me from starting again. Because normally when I get sick, I'd quit for a few days and then go right back at it.
Right.
But I knew that I had to stop, and I knew that if I start again, I'm just going to have to live through this. And two years later, I'm still coughing up junk out of my lungs.
But, which, you know, I mean, that happens when you smoke as much as you or I did it was my constant companion.
Yeah.
When I was living by myself out in California and Vegas and, you know, driving 6 hours just to see my sister because I didn't know anyone else in the middle of the out west, that was my little companion that would bring me some sort of, it sounds bizarre to people who don't smoke.
Yeah, yeah.
And here's the thing though, Kenny, I have to borrow another thing from AA or 12-step groups, and that is they used to talk all the time about euphoric recall. You would remember when you drank how amazing it was, but you never remembered when you like woke up face down, you know, on a sidewalk, or you puked all over yourself, or you did things you were embarrassed about.
Pee the bed.
Right? So all this euphoric recall that you and I have for smoking, which is much further behind you than it is me, I also remember trying to take the dog for a walk, and there were occasions where I would be like short of breath going up a very small hill, right? I remember, I also, by the way, which I guess in retrospect I'm sort of grateful for, I don't like the condescension of it, but It is not a good time being a smoker in 2025.
No,
There's
everybody
so
hates
much
smoking
shame
now. Yeah.
like blasted our way. And
Yeah.
I understand it to some degree, but I also, there's a part of me that's like, okay, what's your thing? Pern? Is it porn? Is it alcohol? Is it speed? Is it, what is it? Drinking mouthwash? What's your deal?
It's food, actually.
Yeah, that too.
Food, because I can't just quit something. I have to replace it with something.
Absolutely.
So I stopped smoking and I started eating and eating and eating.
I get it.
Second supper, and then go to bed at 8:30,
Yeah.
and then get up at 4:30 and not eat till 10, 11 in the morning. And then after 4 o'clock, just eat nonstop. So I have gained an incredible amount of weight. And it all came to a head last week when I was in the Twin Cities. I had to sit in the studio you're at with the most unfortunate camera angle you could possibly imagine.
And this wonderful lighting.
Yeah, coming at me from the left side so you could see the entire torso, which was, so I had to look at myself for doing GL. And then I went from GL on whichever day it was, right to the cardiologist. I was there for my annual meeting.
Oh, that's right.
And I knew that the news was going to be bad on the scale, so I didn't bother taking off my shoes or anything.
Yeah.
271 pounds.
And what is your, beyond the last 2 years?
185.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
But when I quit smoking a couple of years ago, I was anywhere from 215 to 220, so overweight, but not morbidly obese.
Right.
And then I did a little the next day, and that was really tough. And then the next day, I helped Alexis and Holly out by doing something, and it ended up on social media. And I think if it weren't for the listeners of my talk, I would be in a completely different headspace today.
Right, I
because they had every right to tear me apart. I mean,
but they
every
don't do that.
right. What I did was so stupid and
No,
ridiculous.
it wasn't. It was
And,
adorable.
the reason I did it is because it's the most unlikely thing that I would do. So I did it. But I knew I was going to get torn apart. And the My Talk listeners, my God, these people are wonderful.
I know.
Seriously, they really, really helped my mental condition.
I know.
And so I decided it's time. So now I'm on this super strict diet.
That's so hard, Kenny.
Oh, it sucks so bad, Amy.
Because you know what? You can't not eat.
Right.
Like smoking, I'm not saying that's easy or any of it's easy,
Right.
but you can walk away and not dabble
Yeah.
3 times a day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But with food, and I've had my issues with eating too, trust me. But that one is, to me, one of the most difficult because how do you navigate a day without interacting with the very thing that you are addicted to?
Amy, I've had about 30 acres of celery in the last 3 days.
I get
hate
it.
celery so much. Oh, and it's put it on this or put this on it.
Peanut
And
butter on it.
Yeah, nothing helps. It's
No,
celery.
it's celery. I know.
And I'm eating a salad every day. That's probably good. No more bread, and that's voluntary. I don't do bread. I do hard-boiled eggs, which, they're not great.
No, and
They're not great.
anything. Here's the problem with people such as you and myself. If I could eat a hard-boiled egg, not for my health, I would enjoy it. If I have to eat a hard-boiled egg,
Thank you.
It's punishment.
Yes. Yeah, it is. You're right.
I'm 7.
And exercise, and by exercise, I mean just get my heart rate up.
Just
and
walk.
for me, being this fat, it's going for a walk.
You know what? I love walking, Kenny.
Yeah.
And in my old or infirm age, I've decided that I have no business running. I have very little business doing anything beyond running. But what I can do and really enjoy is walking.
I'm lucky
love
that
it.
I have access to acreage so I can walk in the woods.
Yep, same.
Yeah.
Stillwater is full of beautiful hiking trails. It also makes me get my dog out, which is great. Quinn and I walk together all the time. And I don't use headphones and I don't listen to
good.
anything. It's just quiet.
Yeah.
And I try and just be quiet. But what you're doing is so hard. And I used to that's another thing, by the way, that people who, and again, this is sort of like canon in the My Talk world, but people who don't understand how hard it is to lose weight, and that people that are trying to lose weight, this usually is not their first, 10th, or 100th rodeo. They've tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. It's why drugs like Ozempic and things like that are so popular.
Yeah.
There's not a person I know who struggled with weight who hasn't tried everything you can possibly think of, including me, by the way. And it's just
what was
hard.
the one you did one a few years ago? You were on a drug. It wasn't Ozempic.
No, I was never on a weight loss drug. I did keto for a while, but it's too restrictive for me.
Speaking of Ozempic, I forgot to ask my cardiologist about it, so I called him yesterday, and I've got the ringer up on my phone.
Yeah.
If he calls,
You're going to take it?
We need to stop the show so I can
Well,
talk
if
to
my
him.
gutter guy calls, then I'm going to have to take that
fine.
call.
That's fine.
Okay,
It's
just
only a
as long as we
podcast.
understand each other.
But from what I'm hearing from friends and actually people in the business, that cardiologists and doctors like Ozempic for their heart patients because it truly kills the cravings.
Yeah.
It kills your desire to eat food.
And I think I have, and I'm not trying to be virtue signaling, but people who criticize people who struggle with their weight infuriate me. They infuriate me because I've had my struggles on and off. It depends on what year you talk to me. And it is so hard, and to imply that it has something to do with laziness or overeating, or sometimes it's that, but a lot of times, I'm sorry, some people are born and skinniness is easier to acquire, and other people, it's not. And I think we just need to we need to give each other a little bit more grace.
You're drawing me out of the closet. I have to admit something. And it's, if you're a GLer and you're listening, you already know this about me. And there's really no way to put this that's really acceptable. I mean, as far as the verbiage, I like big girls.
And I cannot lie.
BBW, thick, whatever you call it. I that to me is an attractive look.
I love that.
Far more than really skinny and bony. And to me, that's not my deal.
I love that.
But so many women struggle with that.
Oh, yeah.
And if a girl is complaining that, oh, I'm 40 pounds overweight, I can't say to that girl, you look fantastic.
Right.
Because that is not what they want to hear. But yet they're busy hating themselves for the way they look. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, and I feel like, and maybe I'm being idealistic, but I feel like, Kenny, you and I are old enough to remember, like, in the 70s, 80s, like, if you didn't look like Farrah Fawcett Majors, old reference for a lot of people, but if you didn't look like her, then you were just not really valuable.
Okay.
And
I'm
I
gonna
feel
say
like
it.
that's changed a bit.
I've changed tremendously because when I was that age, I made fun of big girls.
Sure. It was
And
very popular back then.
finally, I just grew up and said, wait a minute, you're awesome. You
Right?
know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I also think women are so much harder on themselves than men seem to be. I'm not a man, so I don't know. But women are merciless. Excuse me. I heard this old joke. Somebody goes, when men get, want to torture each other, they like punch each other or have some physical altercation. When women want to be cruel to each other, we just imply that we have eating disorders until the other one cries. But I really do think women are so much harder on themselves. But I think anybody, men included, with weight issues, you know what? Here's the deal. And I hate to get so philosophical, but being human is hard. And anybody who tells you different is lying to you.
Yeah.
They're
if
lying.
And if you look, you can look yourself in the mirror stark naked, no matter how big you are or how small you are, and be okay. Oh my God, I wish I was you.
I'm not you. I can't do that, and I won't.
Germans in Jamaica wearing the tiniest little Speedo imaginable and just being huge. It's like,
And
oh my
they
God.
don't care.
Whatever you have in your brain, I wish I
want
had
it.
that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I would never, ever, ever. You could say, Kenny, Amy, I'm going to give you all my land in the middle of nowhere and all my trucks and all my toys, and you can sell them or do whatever you want to do with them if you will just stand in front of a mirror naked for 5 straight minutes and just call me and tell me you did that. You don't even have to prove it. I'd be like, yeah, I shan't be doing that.
I
You
used
can
to have
keep
a
your
joke.
stuff and your money. I don't want to do that.
My joke, I haven't used it in a while, that all the mirrors in my house are eye level.
Yep,
So I
exactly.
can't see anything below my nose.
I have to tell you something. You know the bathroom that's right outside my talk in the hallway?
Yeah.
There's a men and a women's bathroom right next to each other.
Yeah.
Well, if you go in the women's bathroom, there's the normal lighting, like there would be in a bathroom. But then there's also this bright overhead lighting for putting on makeup or whatever.
Yeah.
And
can see
I
my
don't want to
pores.
see this crap,
No.
you know,
Yeah.
every single time. And this is what I do. I go in the bathroom, I go to the bathroom, I come out, I'm going to wash my hands. Somebody inevitably has left the bright, blasting light on.
Yeah.
And I get like angry. There's no one in there. And I turn over and I go, oh my God, where? Like I hit it. Like, why does anyone need this much light on them?
My question is always, is this what other people see?
I
what
know.
I'm seeing right now?
I know. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to know. And you know what? I think part of it's good because I think maybe we all are more, I'll speak for myself, more looks concerned when we're in our teens, our 20s, our 30s, maybe our 40s.
Definitely.
It's not that I don't care at all, but I care a lot less. And I
Yeah.
don't need to check myself in a reflection as walking by a window to see if I look hot that day.
That's
Because I
one
don't.
great thing about getting older. The voices in the head,
Yeah.
they calm down.
I don't care
somewhat.
anymore.
Yeah.
Not as much.
But I can't breathe. I can't walk up flight of steps
I get
without,
it.
so I've got to lose weight.
Do you feel like, and I'm not trying to derail you, but do you feel like this is over restrictive?
This diet,
Yeah.
I'm on a mission. I need to lose 100 pounds in 1 year. This
Okay.
is my own goal. I'm going to the Indy 500 at the end of May, Memorial Day, and we park a mile away. And it's going to be a death march walking back to the car.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I am not looking forward to that because a mile is no big deal to walk unless you're me.
Yeah, I get it. And that's
So-
the thing, too, I think, is you get to a point in your life where you're like, I'm not exaggerating when I said I'm going to die and
Yeah.
I'm just going to trudge towards death, I guess,
Yeah.
before I quit smoking. And that really felt like the choice. And in your case, I assume that you probably feel very much the same.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. So have we
Boy,
brought
this was a
everybody?
good time, right?
Yeah, we brought everybody down enough. Let's take a break and come back and bitch about other people.
Okay, sounds good.
So before we come back, I want to talk about, we'll talk to all of you actually that ride motorcycles, snowmobiles, four-wheelers, or if you're a side-by-side person. I really hope you know Dennis Kirk. They've been around since 1969. It's actually DennisKirk.com, and it is the easiest way to shop for parts, motorcycle, snowmobile, side-by-side, wheeler. Not only parts, though, accessories, too. They have over 185,000 parts in apparel in stock right now. You're not going to find a bigger selection of fitment parts for a wide variety of machines, including Harley Davidson. So if you ride a Harley, you've got to get to DennisKirk.com. They have a wonderful selection. I have a 21-year-old Ranger, Polaris Ranger. It's a side-by-side. Just ordered front and back windshields from DennisKirk.com. They had it in stock. So before you go anywhere, check out Dennis Kirk. Plus, same-day shipping, hello. Those orders come in fast. If you get that order placed before 6 p.m., it's going out. Even better, if you spend over $89, that order ships for free. Don't worry about fitment on clothing or helmets or anything like that. You get free returns on all of that. Whatever you ride, dirt, snow, street, get to DennisKirk.com. I don't know, Amy, this might not be wise given that we work for Hubbard Broadcasting and everything I want to say is wrong and shouldn't be said. And are they part of the problem?
You know, I don't think it's them in this case. I think it's pretty much everyone.
Weather. I forgot to say weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a weather discussion.
We're talking about, you know what? Everyone is talking about it this morning.
Yeah.
You want to shut down a town?
Yeah.
Shut down a town. Just tell them 3 days out, unprecedentedly 3 days out, that there's the storm of the century is coming. There's going to be hail the size of your head, and you must get home, and everyone must get in the basement. Yesterday, everyone went home.
Yeah.
The town shut down at
Schools
like
were
2
closed.
o'clock.
Yeah. Businesses closed.
Baseball games called off. Everything was called off. I left work. I went home.
One of our meteorologists downstairs mentioned last Tuesday, so it's Tuesday now when we're recording, a week out, that there was a chance of thunderstorms for Monday. Just said thunderstorms.
Okay.
One of our other meteorologists first mentioned the possibility of severe storms on Thursday, and then on Friday he started in with the hard sell that it's going to be bad, and it was for the Twin Cities.
Here's the thing. I didn't even watch anything because you didn't have to. You literally could not escape yesterday. Yeah. Everyone scurrying around.
Yeah.
I know people, and I'm not exaggerating. I was just sitting down in the My Talk prep room, and there's like 6 of us, 7 of us in there.
Yeah.
I know people that were doomsday prepping yesterday.
Was Dawn one of them? 'Cause she's a great doomsday
Dawn
prepper.
wasn't one of them, but Alexis is from the My Talk Morning Show. Yeah. Alexis's husband, Anhil, was doomsday prepping.
Yeah.
Quinn, our social media manager, and his girlfriend who lived together had plans. He stayed home because there's 2 dogs and they didn't want them to be scared and alone, when the house caved in on them. And they had like stocked up on canned goods and, all this food and candy.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, literally, and I don't have to say this, nothing happened.
No.
Nothing happened.
What?
How do you get it this wrong?
Do they want to be?
I didn't even watch TV news. I don't want Mr. Herbert to call me. Everyone got it wrong.
Do the meteorologists wish that they were in Miami and this was a hurricane? And do the viewers and listeners wish that they could start putting up OSB and plywood on their windows and barring the doors? What's going on here?
I don't know.
I think people are craving this.
Kenny, you are a lifelong Minnesotan, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As am I. Here's what I don't get. And again, please, Channel 5 people, I love you so much. Don't call me. Or text me or social media me or whatever you do.
Don't at me.
Don't at me.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It wasn't just you. Everyone got this wrong. But I was suspicious, but it was at the back of my brain. It was really quiet. I was like, I've lived here my whole life. This was like, what is yesterday, Monday? This was like Saturday. I have never heard them predict a thunderstorm 3 days in advance.
Snow, blizzard, yes.
Sure.
But thunderstorms? Yeah.
Ever 3 days in advance.
Yeah.
And then as the days went by, I think that's part of it. It wasn't yesterday morning. It was Saturday and Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we whipped each other into a frenzy.
I've learned from following the weather very closely during deer hunting and duck hunting how wrong the forecasts can be, because we all have our favorite apps that we follow on the phone. Mm-hmm. Mine is, and I realize I'm making a mistake, I follow a government agency, and God, do not trust the government, but it's the National Weather Service.
Sure.
Fairly legit in my eyes.
Yep.
Pretty legit. And they go 5 days out, I believe, but they are wrong all the time. And they're always different from the Weather Channel or any of the other applications.
Are they more wrong?
I don't think they're any more wrong than anybody else.
Okay.
But sometimes, especially with the wind. Oh, and by the way, my favorite, no. I'll put that off. Just scratch that. What they'll do when I need to know if the wind is going to be northwest, southwest, west, I need to know that wind direction during the hunting season, and they get it wrong. They changed their forecast after the wind has already changed. So at 1 o'clock on a Saturday, it's a southwest wind, and then at 1:15, when it's a northwest wind, they'll go, "Oh yeah, northwest wind for the rest of the day." It's like, where the F did that come from? So now
sort of
I'm
like-
over on this side of the woods. I need to be on that side of the woods.
Oh, that's
I
so
trusted you.
funny.
You gypped me.
You- it's sort of like Vikings by 14. Then they lose, and you're like, no, I
Right.
said they were going to lose by 7. Come on.
So I mentioned my favorite. My favorite is I like watching the radar because nothing lies with the radar. You can see it coming at you.
Yeah.
And it's windy.com. Not only does it show you the wind direction, but if you get into the right tabs, you can see the weather radar and you can see it coming your way with lightning strikes. And it's really cool. You can see it when it's 5 minutes out. You can see it when it's on top of you. You can see it after it's passed. But what happened with us yesterday, I was watching, and we had a different cell coming our way. We also had weather up here, the Alexandria Fergus Falls area.
Okay.
When it got 2 miles west of my town, it split like the Red Sea and went on either side of us, and we stayed dry, and
think it was
everything north and south of us got nailed.
Do you think it was avoiding you?
I think it was.
Hey, KO is somewhere around here. You go that way, we'll go this way. Oh, that's so funny. No,
So
I
what-
have never seen a thunderstorm. I think I can say this with certainty. I've lived here for a very, very, very long time. I have never, ever seen everybody
Yeah.
miss first of all, predict a thunderstorm and tornadoes 3 days in advance, and B, everybody missed. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, and the meteorologists are coming to come back at you, and the news directors and whatnot, and say, well, it's our job to inform the public. And
Agreed.
absolutely it is. And yes, you should.
Yes,
and I'm not asking you
absolutely.
not to. I'm just asking you to don't set your hair on fire 3 days out. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was it. It was just so far in advance. And again, I never remember ever having a 3 day in advance warning on a hurricane. Sure.
And let's also acknowledge that points south of the Twin Cities, there was some devastation down there.
Oh,
so
for
the
sure.
storm
Absolutely.
did happen. It just
not
took a
here.
different track.
Yeah.
And it's this, I hate this phrase, our models are showing. Just give us some general, how do I say that? Generalities.
Generalities.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just give us that.
Right.
And then when it's 10 minutes out, tell us what's going to happen.
Right.
If there's a tornado in Chanhassen, my God, we need to know about that.
Yeah,
And it's coming our
absolutely.
way. But don't tell us on Saturday.
No,
or
right.
Friday.
In my talk, we had people on set, or in the studio ready to go to Channel 5 because we trust them implicitly to pull that weather up if it needed to be.
Yeah.
We would have done that, and
Yeah.
it just never happened. But everybody is talking about it this morning because so many people adjusted their lives pretty severely yesterday.
Yeah.
I've never gone home from work early because of weather. I just didn't want to try and get to Stillwater and have it take an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You had to sit in that gross eastbound 36 traffic.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
that's
real.
dreadful.
It's worse now because of 94.
So speaking of traffic, what is your opinion about the TV stations? And they all do it, so we don't have to single one out. That put a reporter in a car and send them out weather chasing, and they do live shots
Yeah.
from inside the car. You like that?
You know what's funny? My son and I will watch like YouTube stuff about news flubs and stuff like that, and I always love it when they make, whether it be, it's a cliche at this point, they all do it, whether it's national or local, it doesn't matter, where they put somebody out in the elements.
Yeah.
Like they're getting blown and they're getting rained on and they're getting lightning strikes.
And
I'm just like, why do you need to be standing in it for us to understand it's raining?
And then my favorite is, this is especially true in the hurricane areas where somebody will be out there, and then in the background, a guy goes by in a canoe with his shirt off
right.
and
I
just
know.
living his best life.
I remember my mom and I being in Providence, Rhode Island. Don't ask me why. Actually, there was a show for a short period of time on network television called Providence. And we thought it looked cool, so we went to Providence.
Yeah.
So we went to Providence, and the first day we were shopping at some big shopping center there. And all of a sudden, we went to have lunch, and all these people, I think it was Nordstrom's restaurant, all these people started flooding in, picking up bags and bags and bags of food and to go. And we were like, what's going on? And we're staying in a hotel seaside. And these people are like, oh, there's a hurricane coming. You got to get food and you got to like buckle down and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, great. We're on the 17th floor overlooking the ocean. Great. So we are like, oh no. So we go to the store and we buy all this food and we order some takeout. And what else can we do? I mean, we're in a hotel room. So we go back to the hotel room and we like, get all in our jammies. And we're like, well, we can't go to the basement. So I guess this is where we're going to watch the hurricane.
Yep. Here's where our life
So we're
ends.
just going to turn the local news on and we're going to watch the hurricane.
Yep.
So we kept waiting and waiting. And there's like utility trucks in our parking lot of the hotel.
Oh,
they're in
staged.
the hotel
Yeah.
rooms, staging for
Yeah.
all the cleanup.
Yep.
And we're sitting there and we're watching the weather and we're watching and hours go by and we've starting to eat through most of our food and then more hours went by and then we ate more food and
Now
now
it's
we're
salt
down to
packets and
we're down to
ketchup packets.
pretzels and maybe some sugar and all of a sudden my mom goes, oh, they've got a guy. Amy, come in here. I'm in the bathroom or whatever. She goes, come in. They've got a guy. He's down on the beach right now. It's not far from here. So we go out there and he's got one of those, I don't know what the name of it is, but it measures wind.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that you can hold up and
Sure.
measure the wind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's holding up the thing that's measuring the wind. And his hair doesn't seem to be blowing much. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, so they go, let's go live to Peter Turner, who's standing by at the beach on bloobity-blop. And so he's standing there and he goes, I'm measuring the wind right now. And he goes, just a moment. Let's get the reading. And then he looks at it and we can see it on the TV and it says 26 miles an hour. And my mom and I are like, okay, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, they talked the next day like they were justifying their coverage. Like, oh, it's a lot worse than you think it was.
Yeah.
It's like, I can see. I have eyes. I can look out. There's no branches down. There's no ships blown up on shore. There was no hurricane.
Meanwhile, in Montana, it's a calm day if the wind is blowing less than 30 miles an hour. It's a nice
Oh, my
day.
God. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh, and the power was out in the hotel for some reason.
Oh, of course.
In 26 mile an hour wind. All right, let's.
So I don't know what they're supposed to do in closing. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Just don't do what you did.
Whatever that was, do it
Yeah,
different.
Yeah.
Do
Change.
it exactly like you did it the last few days, but better.
Yeah. Do better.
We'll be right back.
Okay, Amy, there's just one thing I wanted to mention. I forgot to mention it when we were talking about losing weight. I went to Reddit, which is, it's if you're just bored, Reddit is fun.
There's so
And
much stuff.
I just type in any old thing and see what turns up. And I knew I wanted to talk about these weight issues. And I came across a lady who, she's 5'9". She currently weighs 125 pounds. Her peak was 170. And like you said, she said she comes from a culture, South Asian, that is riddled with toxic body standards. Now, here's what I thought was interesting. Her family and relatives said when she was 170 that you really need to lose weight, or you would be much prettier if you lost some weight, right? So she loses all this weight, and her friends and her family come back and say, oh my God, you're too skinny. You look horrible and malnourished.
Oh my gosh.
And then the girl, she had a lot of complaints about losing weight. One of them was she can't twerk anymore.
Why?
Cardi B came on and she started doing her twerking, and it wasn't as good anymore because there was no jiggle.
You know what? Maybe, maybe when it comes to someone else's body, shut up.
Yeah.
Leave people alone.
And what is
She
it
needs
about?
new friends and family.
Yeah, what is it with family? My
Good
God.
God.
They're the worst.
Oh my God. It's like, well, and even back in the day, really? I mean, in 1970, do you remember, oh my God, throwback. Do you remember Christopher Cross?
Sure.
Sailing
Yeah,
and all that yacht rock kind of
absolutely.
stuff?
Yacht rock, yeah.
That guy, when Sailing came out and he had several hits in a row, radio hits, when he performed at the Grammys, his career was essentially over because he wasn't hot and he wasn't skinny. He's a heavyset guy.
Wow.
He won. He performed at the Grammys in whatever year that would have been. It would have been late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And other than Arthur's theme a couple years later, I don't think his career ever reached the peaks it could have otherwise reached because he was heavy set. And back in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, I'm not saying we're free of it now, but there's no way Lizzo is a thing.
I'm glad
in 1970.
I'm glad you brought her up because I can't name one Lizzo lyric, but I love Lizzo.
Yeah.
And I can't believe, and you know what? I also hate the word toxic, but that's what the comments are when they're directed at her.
Absolutely.
My God.
Why do you care?
What is your problem?
I mean, really, seriously, go look in a mirror. And a lot of times, by the way, I'm assuming this is just from the general population. I've been to the state fair. Gen Pop doesn't look great either. All right.
You know where I feel my best is I go to a lot of dirt track races, stock car races.
Oh, that's got to be great.
These are my people. There is absolutely no judging anybody because we all look like goofballs, and it's so awesome.
I love that, actually.
I wish I could remember the series I'm watching. It's on Amazon Prime. It was out around 2010, and it's about an all-exclusive resort in Spain that English people go to.
Oh, sounds good.
I wish I could remember it. I wonder if I can find it before I stop talking. But everyone, and it's the opposite. What is this series that's been going on? The third season just concluded.
White Lotus.
Yeah, it's the opposite of White Lotus.
Like everything's bad or everything's good? Or nobody gets murdered? What's the opposite?
Everybody's, they look like me.
Oh.
And they all have drinking. They all smoke.
Yeah.
And they all look weird.
Yeah.
And it is just the wonderful. Continue watching.
Well, and the thing with
Benidorm. Benidorm.
Is that on BB? What is that on? BritBox?
It's on Prime.
Oh, okay.
And it's from 2010, so it's a long time ago.
Okay.
And the first two seasons are really good, and then like all series, it starts
going downhill.
The writing goes to hell after the third season.
Right. Well, and White Lotus, it's kind of funny you say that because most of them appear to be doing well, but like the whole show is predicated on the fact that they're disasters underneath.
And on this one, it's kind of the opposite. They appear to be disasters. But the dysfunction works for them, and it's a lot of fun.
Love that. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I don't know. Lizzo would never be a thing in 1970s, 80s, 90s America.
Yeah.
Maybe early 2000s.
Yeah.
I can think Adele, when she first came out, despite her incredible talent, I don't think I've heard a vocalist in decades and decades and decades that equals her. She was heavy set when she first came out. And there's no way that happens in 1980.
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what weight Kelly Clarkson is. She can be a waif like she is now, or she can be 300 pounds. I love Kelly Clarkson.
Adorable.
Isn't she just my God, she doesn't know it yet, but I'm her next husband.
Right? Right? Well, when she finds out, she's going to be startled.
Yeah. It'll come as a shock to her. And who's this rapper out now? Big dude with tattoos all over his face.
Yeah.
Post Malone?
Jelly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Post Malone, but
Post
also
Malone.
Jelly Roll's a
Jelly
singer
Roll.
that's out there.
Yeah.
Or Teddy Swims is similar.
It's slowly changing.
It is, very slowly. But not fast enough. You know what? I think that your Ozempic doctor's going to call shortly, so maybe we should wrap this up.
Yeah. Let's be done. And I want to just really, really thank the listeners of My Talk. You really made my week last week. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't go searching for it.
Oh, dude, it's the cutest thing I saw all week.
And thank you very, very much for listening to the Crabby Coffee Shop. Thank you, Amy.
You bet. Have a good week, Ken.